Summer Walker just exposed why modern dating will never work. But stay tuned because I believe she has a hidden agenda for why she's explaining this.
Do you really want a nigga? Dying alone don't sound too bad.
This month has been very interesting for a lot of female artists and influencers. If you weren't aware, Sweetie, another female rapper and artist, got exposed for being an escort by her madam. It was all over the internet. I'm sure you've heard the news and new things like this. But Summer Walker decided, I'm going to expose myself. She did an interview with Speedy where they talked about a various amount of things, whether that's fake designer, whether that's like money, whether that's social anxiety, and the tour she's on with Chris Brown and how that experience has changed her life. But the thing that got the internet all rised up and saying like, oh my God, like she thinks like this is her thoughts about men and dating. Summer Walker is no stranger to toxic relationships, and a lot of people come out in today's day and age saying, where is the love? Why is all R&B nowadays so toxic? Why is it all about side chicks and never trusting people? Why can't we have that old school type of love where you fall in love in some romantic way and you live happily ever after? Well, unfortunately, there was a fatigue for that because a lot of people didn't get to really live that type of life. It was fairy tale, it was Hollywood, movies and stuff like that. And Summer Walker was somebody who was affected by that to the point where she's now almost 30 and she's talking about she has developed and changed her way of dating. She no longer sees men as like romantic partners, but only as providers. She goes on to in this interview saying various amount of like little head dog holler kind of sentence like,
And when you go broke, I will leave you. Ladies, if you try to ride or die, you will, in fact, die. Don't do that shit no more. You look stupid.
So, nice women finish last, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh my God, it was all a lie. I'm not a man hater.
You said, before my love couldn't be bought, but now that's all I want.
Yes.
This is a lyric on off your new
Open
song.
up that wallet. Open it! Ah!
one of the funniest interactions in the interview is when she's like, "Oh, if a man can't, a man is supposed to provide," and Speedy goes, "Oh, hold on now, I'm not gonna provide," and she looks at him like he's crazy for not wanting to provide, but at the same time, she is saying the exact opposite side of the spectrum of that type of mentality.
I'm sure there are plenty of wonderful, loving, great men out here who are like yourself, who are providers and protectors.
Well, now you lost me.
Oh,
Provider?
what? You playing?
No.
You don't
honey,
provide?
Of course not. God is the ultimate provider. He provides.
You
so
don't
hard, dude.
provide?
No, because he does. I don't want to.
Modern dating has kind of put everybody in these two different like boxes of like far left or far right types of mindsets. Not politically wise. I mean, just so polarizing from each other. They're just like, no wonder people can't get along. No wonder people are struggling with dating. No wonder people are struggling with a lot of things in terms of dealing with the opposite gender because they're all looking to get something out of it with as little as return as possible. Like they're trying to get as much without giving as much. And I just think that's a very hostile type of like interaction. And you might as well like just not deal with people like that. You might as well just step away and be like, I'm good. I'm just going to be around people who are mutually beneficial and we had great relationships and all these type of things. And I understand that's probably hard to find, especially with a lot of people consuming a lot of this rhetoric on the internet, whether it's men and the whole red pill misogyny kind of stuff, or it's with women and their feminism kind of like share seven kind of artists, like these YouTubers. Like if you don't know, it's like a whole like rabbit hole. So I advise people just don't even get involved in that kind of stuff. But this is interesting, not because, she did a red carpet with the old man, like, and everybody at the time was so shocked by it. They were like, what is she doing with this guy? And some people were like, oh, she's a sugar baby right off the bat. She's an escort. And this was before all the sweetie stuff. So people were just kind of like, what's going on? But I think there's a hidden reason for why she's doing all this stuff. Is because her next album is going to be a progression from her Level Girl era. Like everybody knows Summer Walker has been through a lot and she explains it a lot in her music. A lot of girls who have gone through similar things really love Summer Walker. She's like SZA, but with trap beats that are sometimes better, but she's in that lane of like toxic relationship drama kind of stuff, her music. And to see her progress into a city girl, kind of like take him for his money, make you think you love him, take his money, then you dip on niggas kind of rhetoric, or a figure rich nigga, that's my type, sweetie kind of rhetoric. And it just shows you like, oh, this is the progression. This is all leading up to an album that I 100% will bet, I'll put my money on this, that album is going to be full of that type of rhetoric. If anybody wants to, bet against me, put it in the comments down below. She even listed some of the features that are going to be on this album. Lotto, Glorilla, Sexy Red. And could you imagine her working with these artists and them expounding on some romantic kind of love? Like, don't chase the bag, go after his love. Like, just pamper his feet and wash his clothes and feed him. And don't worry about any money, date a bum. Like, come on now. We don't expect these artists to preach that kind of rhetoric. So it's kind of obvious that this is going in that direction, and I'm interested, to be honest. I'm interested to see how Summer Walker is going to put this in a more R&B way. Like, of course, we've had like the Brent Faiyaz, SZA kind of era where it was really just like emotional, kind of like speaking from the victim's point of view and how that relationships have changed you. But this is more of the aggressor. I guess maybe not the aggressor is the right term. Maybe the person who sets the terms, the person who controls the dynamic. The other person has to bend their knee to your will. And what I find interesting is not the fact that that's where she's progressing, because I don't mind that type of music. I don't mind that type of rhetoric, because I'll be a hypocrite by saying that, because I enjoyed music like UGK, Pimp C, Bun B, famous, not famous rappers, but like rappers who have that type of misogyny kind of like, rhetoric. I mean, hip hop is filled with it. So I'd be a hypocrite to say like women shouldn't be allowed to say the same things and me think it's not good. It's kind of like, what do you expect? You have to have both sides of the coin in order for it to be a coin. So whatever, right? That's not the point. My point is, in the future, what are young people going to think of the other gender and the other dynamics of the world dealing with people when this is the prevalent music of their youth? This is the childhood, teenage years music that shapes your view of certain things. Now, I know you shouldn't be looking to these celebrities as influences, and maybe you should just look them as like entertainers and solely it, not people who should, shape your morals and values. But unfortunately, a lot of people do. Some people don't have male figures in their life or female figures in their life for them to give a positive way of, moving around the world. So when they see these things, they might say, well, Summer Walker has gone through a lot of things and she wished she had it. And now she feels like she's happier with what she's doing now. So maybe I should do what she's doing instead of going through the hardship stuff. Maybe I should skip the lover girl era phase and just move straight into whatever you call this, escort phase, or, she officially changed her name from Summer Walker to Streetwalker, kind of phase. I don't really know what you to call at this point. And it's gonna keep going down this path. And unfortunately, I don't think there's ever gonna be a time where we turn back the clock and go back to the more romantic side of things. I just don't see that happening. There's a lot of people who are just jaded and bitter. Like, if I ever hear Summer Walker coming out with a song that she's in love, a lot of people are going to even question if she really loves this dude or whoever she's with. So it's a very big dichotomy. I think it's a hidden agenda. I think she's doing it all for the album. This is all PR. This is all just smoke and mirrors. Who knows what she's doing in her real life? She could have a nigga just like at the crib doing his 9 to 5 hustle, getting money, getting to the bag, and she's just chilling. But she's like, I need to make I need to make an illusion that I'm this type of person. There's a lot of people like who say they're this but are not that. Like in rap especially, there's a lot of fake gangster rappers who say they're gangster, but really they're just telling the stories of the gangsters they knew in their neighborhood. This could be the same thing for, I guess you could say, hoe rap or hoe music, is that there's a lot of girls who are really living that type of lifestyle, but these are the girls who don't want to live that lifestyle, but they know that a lot of girls like the stories of those girls, right? There's a reason why the Real Housewives or the baddie shows and things like this get really popular, because these girls are not afraid to show certain views of themselves that a lot of other girls that might have that or might aspire to like be that confident are too afraid to show that to the public because they're afraid of scrutiny, shame, and public discourse around them. So there's a lot of things like play into part about why this music is attracting a lot of people's attention and why these things are like really polarizing in the public and in the pop culture realms of things. But music will keep on going. Summer Walker's music is, I think she's really good. So if she can make this music sound even more appealing, a power to her. So you guys let me know what you guys think if Summer Walker is doing this for like PR or whatever, but y'all let me know in the comments.